you.
All right, well, thank you so much for inviting us today. Our favorite thing is to talk about CTE. I loved Sue's segue into CTE. We are definitely trying to change the narrative about what CTE is, career and technical education. It used to be, vocational type learning. It is definitely now, in my opinion, for all students, honestly. As a former high school principal and seeing students within in high school and preparing them for post-secondary pathways, I think it is like an amazing opportunity for them. So we're going to talk about all of the things that we do offer at CTE. I'm Melissa Molzon, the CTE director.
And I'm Sam Paul, the press program coordinator and STEM coordinator for the district.
I also wanted to say one thing I was thinking about, but I forgot about it during technology. Thank you all for all that you do as parents. As a former principal, I know parents make the magic happen and saw it all the time. So I can't thank all of you enough for all your hard work that you put into everything that you do for kids. So thank you all very much for doing that. Okay, so we'll get started. So not my CTE anymore. Now it is a cutting edge, rigorous, relevant programs that prepare kids for post-secondary pathways. And not only that, we really try to do real world skills that get developed in these programs. I know somebody said, how many students or people have a child in a CTE program and have gone through CTE? Only 2. Okay. Wow, we'll have to make that more. And you said how enjoyable.
She loves it. She's in the nursing program.
Yes, and Kate,
She'll
I
have a
know,
CNA.
Kate is impressed. So they are phenomenal programs. It works on college and career readiness for students, bridges the skills gap. We have a lot of employers that are saying that students are coming to them and they don't have those soft skills that, collaborating, critical thinking, being able to speak with someone, those communication skills. So those are those skills that they get to practice when they're in a CTE classroom.
Just a couple things to add is we had the opportunity to go to Helios that collects data in collaboration with the issue. And the data they put on Maricopa County is students who participate in CTE. So the average, the Maricopa County graduation average is around 86%. Of students who take at least one CT class, that goes up to 90.5%. And students that are concentrators, meaning they take 2 or more classes in a CT strand, it goes up to 96%. It also increases the people that get skills in high school tend to also go on to seek further training, either more certifications or associate's or bachelor's degree. And it also increases their potential to have a living wage by age 30. So we're seeing that we're tracking, and the state is tracking data to see the impact of CTE and training starting in high school on the overall demographics ability to earn a living wage by age 30.
Another thing that we noticed through COVID, the lack of motivation for students, and a lot of them were they were home a lot and had a lot of time to think. They're like, why am I sitting here in English class? Like they didn't see the relevancy. And so CTE gives them that real life, real world experiences. And so they kind of were like, okay, now I see why I'm in that class, because I can apply it to, maybe it's welding, maybe it's bioscience, maybe it's, fashion design. There's so many things that we can do academically within CTE programs, and kids learn it in spite of themselves. Now they're learning it and they love it. Yesterday I was at one of the CTSOs. They're doing the state competitions for skills, and there were students in this huge ballroom, and they're doing masonry work and building roofing, and they were building, all these things in this room. Well, there's math going on the entire time, and they may not love sitting in the calculus class, but they do absolutely love doing math in that realm. So that's another exciting way that we can see CTE affecting students. This kind of gives the model of what we do. Instead of sitting and getting or in a core academic class, We strive to do 51% of our class time is supposed to be a hands-on opportunity. So they're up, they're moving, they're doing stuff. They're not just sitting, listening and taking notes. Is an active situation where they're learning those technical life skills. Of course, whatever program they're choosing, there's a technical skill that goes with that. So they're continuing to work on those. Professional standards, here's the really cool thing. Part of CTE is developing students' professional skills. So embedded within the curriculum, they're talking about resumes. They're doing practice interviews. They invite industry partners in and have a panel, and the student sits in front of them and has that opportunity to be interviewed by an industry partner. A lot of students, they're not ready, with a resume and, stuff that they've put together and to talk to adults. And some of them don't even have eye contact. That's a thing that we really have to continue to work on is eye contact. So professional standard is a really important part of what we do. And we'll talk about how that goes into their CTSO when they go to competitions. And I'll let Pam, talk about that in a little bit. We also have industry certifications for every program that we have. There's an industry certification that the student will get if they complete the pathway. If they do, and we say complete a pathway, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. At PV, they can do a 1, 2 in a semester. In all the other in the other high schools, they have a regular traditional schedule where they have 1, 2 the whole year. So at PV, they do have a little bit more of an opportunity to get through faster than they do at the other schools. But the same thing is happening just in a shorter period of time because they're in class longer. College and career opportunities. I can't tell you how many industry partners, Honeywell, Mayo, Honor Health, Banner, they're coming to us saying, we'll take your kids. And if a student isn't necessarily going to go to a 4-year situation right out of the gate, it's very expensive now. There's so many opportunities for them to get into an entry-level position and they'll pay for it. They'll be like, you get them prepared in an entry-level position that's actually a livable wage. That's why we're really focusing on a rigorous pathway, because we want it to be valuable. I don't want them getting out and making $15 an hour, get them out and making 20 to 25, where yes, they're still going to maybe struggle a little bit, but they're going to be at a level where they can work and then they'll get their education paid for. That's better than that. So we have a lot of students looking into that opportunity. Some of them aren't ready to go to a 4-year college and they want to just, try this out for a little bit. So that's a great way for them to do that. What else do you want to say about this? Okay, so the embedded academics, we do have core math and English and science standards embedded within CTE. So our teachers have worked with core teachers to figure out where there's some overlap. Sometimes we do projects with, geometry and welding have done things together, so we really try to make that connection and support them for the work that they have to do to get kids to pass the ACT. So we kind of support that through CTE. Career-based learning, like I said, and leadership development, which is CTSOs, which I think is the icing on the cake for me. After being in this position as a principal, I didn't see it, but I do now, and I see them they go to a fall leadership. And we'll talk a little bit more about that and get ahead of myself, but they go to a fall leadership, they'll do a regional opportunity, they do state, and we have many students that go to nationals. And this is the second year I've been in CTE. I'm finishing up my second year. And this year I was able to go to all the state competitions. Amazing. You would be blown away if you saw the professionalism and the skills that these students have taken into their life. It just blows me away. We had several state officers in HOSA, in skills. I think they could run for president. I'm going to remember these kids' names because I'm going to say I knew when, because that's how impressive they are. And that is a CTE class. And I guess that's what I want to get out to people is how impressive it truly is, no matter which program they're in. Okay, so business advisory councils and career exploration. Business advisory is like the crux of what we do. So if anybody knows of a business or anybody that's looking to try internships, do internships with us, please give them my name or look me up and on the website and give them our name. They do so much for us. They help with career exploration days. We partner with equipment recommendations. Right now, we're trying to develop precision machining over at Paradise Valley, which will lead into a pathway to TSMC. And Honeywell is coming out, and Honeywell They're coming out, I think, weekly and really we're not paying them anything. They're just coming out and working on our robotics machines and helping us to get that program prepared. Guest speakers, the keynote speaker for our CTE signing day was the assistant or VP of Honeywell. She was incredible. Project collaboration, Honeywell's come out and worked with our Greenway Middle School kids and our Crest students. So the goal for us is to get those partners into the building so they can talk to the kids about what it's like day to day, elbow to elbow. What's that day to day look like? So they don't feel so unprepared. If I hear it 1,000 once, I hear it 1,000 times from students, I don't feel prepared as I'm going out. In this position, I feel honored to help them figure that pathway out and feel a little bit more prepared as they take that big step.
And we're building relationships. So we're building relationships on the K-12 continuum. So if we can come in with our business partners in elementary school, revisit students again in middle school, and then in high school, we're continuing to help them connect their interest to opportunity all along the way. So we meet them where they're at on a basic interest level in elementary school, and then we start building those relationships. Also, we have partners that we have made with the PRESS program for engineering, computer science internships that we've been able to expand to other opportunities. So now with Honeywell, with Wood Patel, and with a few other partners, we have a college internship pathway for students that are planning on studying engineering, software development, and we have a I want to go to work after high school, or I maybe want to go to community college and I want to be working during that time. So for instance, with one of our engineering partners, they have 2 different internships, and with the I'm thinking I want to go to work, or at least be working while I go to school. They're doing a surveying internship, and they're teaching students surveying skills and giving them employment and that kind of thing. And we have the same kind of double pathway going on with Honeywell. So we're really looking at our business partners in many of them have career pathways in multiple pathways. And so we're maximizing our relationships by expanding the opportunities for more kids.
We recently sent out a career readiness survey to kids, and the number one thing that they've said, but actually number 1 and number 2 were internship opportunities and real world experiences. Like that is like almost over half of what they've asked for. So, I mean, my goal would be to have every senior have an internship opportunity and go through a CTE pathway before they leave, because of all of the richness that they get in these programs. We're also starting to work on career exploration down to the littles. This is a new development for us. eCTE has been developed through the state K-8 standards for career and technical education. So we've done 8th grade CTE tours for kiddos. We just did a CTE roadshow, we call it, to the elementary school. So 8 of our programs developed a hands-on activity, and we went to Desert Shadows Elementary. So for example, kindergarten was doing culinary, adorable. They had little chef hats on and all of that. 4th grade did forensics, or they did engineering. 3rd grade did forensics. 6th grade did welding, so we had a different pathway for all of them, and they rotated to each class. So the whole grade level saw the same activity. That was incredible. So exposing kids early on to understand, why do we go to school? Well, we go to school to prepare for a post-secondary pathway, even when they're younger. Yes.
How do we get that to our?
Well, your principal has to ask.
Well, I was gonna say though, we needed a beta test,
Yeah.
like a sample, so we did that. And now the goal would be to develop those within high school feeders, so that from the high school, their programs would be doing the roadshow to the feeder schools. So we did kind of one to kind of test it, the model, create the model, that kind of thing, took volunteers. But I think the ultimate goal would be to do it through high school feeders and have those high schools support the elementaries in their feeder.
So if we are interested in something like that, would we reach out to our high school or would we reach out to you?
I would reach out to your principal.
Okay.
and say.
Well, I'm at him. Like, who am I telling him to talk
Oh,
to?
to talk to CTE directors. Yeah,
perfect.
Yep, yep, yep.
Okay.
And they're gonna be presenting to the elementary principals.
Yeah.
We're not sure how to scale it
Yeah.
because, we took all of these students out of class and the teachers out of class. So we're trying to figure this out and how to make sure that they're getting those opportunities.
I
Right.
was just gonna say that at Desert Shadows Elementary, the first thing, like this was put in a year prior, he was already thinking about it, so he Cunningham was looking for parent volunteers who honestly are willing to come back year to year to do kind of the same thing. So that's really, the culinary was a chef who was a parent of one of the
Yeah.
students there. The welder was a parent of one who is willing to kind of come back every year to do that.
And
same
it could
work
look
that we
different. Some schools
So-
might, we have participated in some things where schools are bringing that exposure in through their STEM nights or their STEAM nights. Some might try and bring it into the classroom, so. This was a test, it was a successful model, but again, we can take the same students on the road to,
28.
28. So we need to now kind of, use that as a potential plan and a potential way that we can, help different high school feeder lines develop for their own communities.
And we're also working on a framework to ensure that, for example, pre-K to 2, second grade, would kind of have the same opportunity. So thinking about what they would need to see, and then 3 to 5, and then 6 to 8, just trying to figure out what types of career exploration do we want them to have all the way through school. So it's not, a surprise when they get to high school,
So another pathway option will be that we are providing, tying tier 1 curriculum and resources directly to the elementary schools that they can embed in their electives or in their classroom time. So there's a number of ways that we can bring CTE to the elementaries, and we're looking at all of those models.
No, it says here the 8th grade, the CTE tours, what exactly is that, and is it all the middle schools are participating in?
This year we had 3 of them, and due to transportation, we are planning that in July and making sure all of them have that opportunity, but transportation got really tight. So, Shea Middle, Greenway, Desert. One that goes in Horizons,
Desert
Desert Shadows did it. I think we've missed Sunrise, Explore, and Mountain Trail. But we are working, this year I will talk to transportation in July and go, okay, I need buses, because he's like, you're moving 1,000 8th graders, what are you doing? So, yeah, we kind of got into a snag there, but we're for sure gonna make sure that happens, the kids have a blast. Because, we do these nights for kids, but then this way, they get into the classroom, we've got CTE kids that are taking them around, and they can see the spaces, because that's the thing. I mean, they're blown away when they see, culinary at Furnace Valley and at Pinnacle they're like restaurant style kitchens. Welding is like this giant room with, all these welders. It's really impressive for them to see.
So, for example, like Sunrise, it splits into 2 feeder schools. Where would they go?
They go to whoever their feeder is. We would split it. For example, we split Greenway Middle students to go to PV, and then some of them went to North Canyon.
Okay,
So where their home school is kind of where they go.
okay, and so, for example, my son's gonna be in 8th grade next year,
Okay.
and our homeschool is PV, but we would be going to Horizon because he's in the Mandarin program.
Okay.
So would I just have to, students would have to be like, okay, this is where they plan to go to high school versus.
We would just ask them, where do you think you're going? Because some of them do move around. If they're over at Mountain Trail, they're going to PV. And so if they have an idea, we'll just make sure they get to where they can be on that day. Okay?
There is some overlap with programs too, so if they were to do a CT tour at a different high school and get exposure, that exposure transfers to other schools. So, while we'll work within feeder lines, there is some crossover, and we're really exposing overall experience, project-based learning, overall concepts as well as individual programs. So they'll still get some of that input, even if they were to tour a high school that they end up going to a different high school.
Okay, just one comment and one question. One is just a little insider tip, and you may already know this, but the culinary arts program at Mountain Trail is like so popular, and like, I think they can't even keep up with it. And my kiddo is just like, comes home so excited about it, and he doesn't get excited about really anything other than hockey. So big deal and really exciting for me, right, as a
Yeah.
mom to kind of see that. So
Yeah.
just for whatever that's worth, I think they can't even keep up with what's the interest over there. And then the second just question that I have is, like how, maybe some of the, programs that you have in place have kind of been, growing and building over the years, but I guess my question comes down to, like, what if any process is there for like reviewing like the programs that are offered and like adding to it, removing things, expanding things, just kind of curious about what does that process look like for you guys?
We actually just had our comprehensive local assessment. A giant group of stakeholders got together. We're looking at data, we're looking at employment, like what is,
Like high needs.
high wage, high need. Yes, we are looking at that. We actually have also a CT innovation group that we're working with, that you'll be hearing more about. We're coming down to our last meeting on May 1st, so we will be presenting, and looking at that, making sure that we are preparing students for jobs that are in our area,
Okay.
right?
I don't know if this has come up for you at all, but I can tell as an attorney, I mean, paralegals. I mean, I would hire one tomorrow, like, I mean, it's, and my colleague, everybody's always looking, so.
Yes.
I don't know if we have it, do we have the
I do.
PVCC in our?
I do,
We're
yeah.
gonna get to some of these.
We're gonna talk about.
We're gonna get to the opportunity.
I'm getting excited.
We're gonna get to the opportunity.
Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
probably taking too long. I didn't think I'd be long enough, but I take too long. We get excited about CTE. Also, obviously, the internships and work-based learning opportunities are what the kids want. So we are trying to find as many of those as possible for students. Yes, ma'am.
So we do have CTE in middle schools.
You do. We have not CTE as a department.
Oh,
Well, weren't actually able to fund it up until recently, and we are now with Perkins and Priority. I still am unable to utilize Westmac funds for that. I'm assuming that will change soon because of all of the conversation about getting kids prepared earlier, because really by the time they're freshmen, they really have to have a sense of what they're doing and why they're doing it. I mean, so that's a whole other story, but yes, we do.
We just don't.
We are trying to align it better to what we offer in high school,
Got it.
and make sure that the rigor is similar, like if they're doing engineering, in the middle school, that they're preparing them in a similar way to what we're tracking them. So they're using PLTW and, have a
Curriculum.
similar curriculum.
And is there a list somewhere probably online of what those programs are? And my other question is, do we have like a night or somewhere like during 8th grade that parents can see the program with the kids and talk to them?
Every high school has their own evening, has their own night. I don't know that they actually get into the actual room. They do. Yeah, I think some of them do and some of them don't. So I'm not sure what the high schools, they all kind of do their own 8th grade evening.
Oh, they
for
do.
them to- Yeah,
So you can just probably find that information somewhere.
I'm sure they'll be reaching
It's
out to
in
their feeder middle
Right,
schools.
it gets sent out by the principals to their,
Oh, okay.
their communities, to their 8th grade community.
And I like you asking us, we're working on that middle school thing because we'd like it to be it's more aligned and to have a list of what we offer at each middle school too.
Okay.
It just hasn't been a thing because CT hasn't been over those programs. The principals have just kind of developed what they wanted to develop. If they had a teacher that liked culinary or liked this, they develop it, which,
My oldest is going into 6th grade, so.
okay,
I'm kind of planning ahead.
good. That's very good.
So
Melissa.
many years ago, there was like a middle school night where you could go to one campus and find out about all of the high schools. And I haven't seen it
Oh.
for years. And it might be something, especially with the CTE, even if you couldn't get them to do that on all the other programs, but to have a CTE night in one location so that parents could hear about every single opportunity. Because again, kids can move to different high schools.
Sure.
Right. I mean, Crest is taken care of because of the application process. If they're not aware of Crest early enough, that they've missed that deadline. But these other programs are available at different places and they may not be aware of it.
Mm, good tip. I kind of like that. Maybe even in seventh grade, because you gotta start
Oh,
thinking about
no,
open
but
enrollment.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
For
that's-
middle school, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like seventh
oh,
grade.
prior, like sixth grade?
No,
Or
I
seventh
mean, I
grade.
would do a seventh and
Yeah.
eighth grade, so
Yeah.
that they know,
I
but
like
I
that.
would do both, middle, both years.
Mm-hmm.
We can continue, answer questions, or we can show you
I
a bit
think
more
it's
and then
fine.
have some more questions.
Yeah, you know what?
Go
I
ahead
love
and, go
that.
ahead and ask your question.
Oh, I was gonna, agree with that and say definitely the starting in seventh grade as opposed to eighth grade, because when you do the eighth grade tours of the high school, it's in like January.
Right, well, an open
So-
enrollment starts in September. It's done in,
Yeah.
Right.
in December, so
and
you gotta
I
get on.
agree with the letting them all know, cause like, I mean, I have my fourth kid going into, high school, and I wasn't aware of a whole bunch of these, only the CREST program.
Right.
Yeah, thank you. That is great,
Yeah.
that's great feedback.
And that's
We'll
really,
try that.
that's really a lot of some of the work that we're working on is to develop that pathway and that community knowledge of what we offer.
Yes, I think that's our biggest pickup is people don't know. I mean, yeah. Okay, career and technical, we kind of touched on this. There are 5 major, national CTSOs that we are all affiliated with, and these are just the ones that the programs, attend. DECA, FBLA, Skills is currently the state's going on, and then we have, ROTC at Shadow Mountain and, North Canyon. Okay, so these are our 24 programs that we offer. We have 44 classes, but there's 24 different programs, because for example, we have culinary for high school, so they're duplicated in other spaces. Students have opportunity to earn dual credit in the ones that are asterisks. The teachers are dual enrolled. And some of them, they're able to get 27 college credits in one pathway. For example, marketing at, Pinnacle, they also get their econ, credit. So they don't have to take econ, like, they do government and econ, they just have to take 2 years of marketing, and then that's a new development, their econ credit will be covered. And then I broke it down by school. You also have, I had a flyer at the end of the table, that is at each high school. Students are able to be transported to Paradise Valley High School from their high school if they don't offer it. So if it's something that's not offered at their high school, they are able to come to Paradise Valley for a CTE program.
I have a question about that. So would they become PV students or would it just be for those classes?
Just for the classes, they Stereo Horizon student, they come over for, it does take 2 of their hours because of them being on a general or traditional schedule and PD being block. It does take an extra elective, but we work that.
Kids are little, so this is like.
Okay, good.
They can also go to the schools that have JROTC. They can go to those programs as well from their home school.
PIM goals programs. Okay, here's our Westmeck partnership. They have 36 programs that offer from Westmeck. Our students can go to that just like they come to Paradise Valley, they can go to Westmeck. Transportation is an issue because you do have to transport yourself. The closest one to us is the Northeast campus, and those are, have an asterisk next to them. They offer advanced manufacturing, air conditioning tech, automotive technology, coding, collision repair and refinishing, electrical trade specialty, general construction technology, and medical assisting, pharmacy science, veterinary science, and welding technologies. At Paradise Valley Community College, which this is a new development, they have just started within the last year, they're offering 4 programs that our students often want to go into a health field or a legal field. That's every career interest that we take, the highest ones are always medical or legal. So they developed a clinical data coordinator, which has a direct partnership with Mayo. They're doing clinical hours with them and we'll go to Mayo for this course. Esports, which is a little, because that sounds like it's a gaming thing, but actually this is an incredible program for kids that like coding, computer science. This is a really innovative program there and their equipment is incredible. So if you ever want to go check out PVCC, it's amazing. Also the paralegal program over there, and we're struggling to get that filled, believe it or not. And we're trying to get that out. It will still make for next year, but I need at least 10 kids in that program. And we're struggling to get kids in there. And I really think it's just because parents don't know. I know marketing sent something out. Does anybody remember seeing anything come out from marketing?
This is the only two-year program, so this one needs students that are current sophomores going into junior year. All of these other three programs are one-year programs, so it can be someone, usually a senior, typically a senior, because the programs are from like 1 to 3 in the afternoon, so if they have an early release, they can go from that to the MT. So, I mean, people can actually graduate. We have some students at PV that are going to be doing the EMT program next year, and they are going on to college, but that's going to be a job that they can get experience and finance as they're going to school. Yes.
So the paralegal is not on this sheet, just so you know, and
It's not because it's not a PV program, it's a Westmex program.
no, but you
Well,
have
because
a
we have
whole
the
West
Westmex.
End section.
Oh, we do. It's new. It's brand new. So
Oh, okay.
the partnerships came about after this flyer was printed. So it'll be on next year's flyer.
Oh, all the PVCC ones?
Yeah.
Yep, because they were all just created. They were trying to service us because we don't have a lot on our side of the city. A lot of it is all on the west corridor. Yes.
Can you explain a little bit more about the West Mac and what that means? And it's a separate school that you're enrolled in, you have to pay for it separately. And like, how does that, are they in their classes and then they go again, their classes in whatever, like PV, and then they go over there for some of their classes, or?
That's exactly right. And yes, there is a small fee, but these courses that you're gonna get college credit, and it's a nominal fee compared to what you pay for college credits. I think the paralegal one is 37 college credits that they actually receive, and so you pay a small fee for it. I think it's
Usually about
$50.
they're not paying the 1/3 like you do on the other dual enrollment stuff?
Now,
Wow.
Westmex paying for it.
Oh,
For
wow.
all the programs at PVCC, you pay $150 registration fee, and Westmex pays the cost of all the college courses.
And I'm sorry, and so the PVCC programs, that are students enrolled in it for this year, or it's for next year?
It's for next year.
We were
It's
trying to
for
get them in
next
for next year.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're working on
Okay.
filling those programs for next year.
Okay, so there's still time. maybe.
There is
There is
still
still
time
time
to
Get the
apply.
word out.
Yep.
Okay.
So my son goes to ED, but, so he's in like a class that's just as elective, but how are you in a program and when do you do that? What year in high school are you in these programs versus just taking a class as an elective?
You can do it as a freshman. What class is he in?
Well, he's in automotive, but
Okay.
he's not in building.
Oh, he's
Not
doing, okay, but that is the program. If they stay in automotives for 3 years, they're considered completers, and then they would take the technical skills assessment.
So
and
it's
get
just
their-
in terms of like when he does his schedule that he's just choosing these classes, or is it like you need to enroll in a program?
Nope, it's just they're choosing
Okay.
the classes. We're working with counselors to kind of have a different narrative for the students. It's not just sample. It's really trying to get them to stay into that. Even if they learn they don't like it, well, great. Now he knows he's not gonna try to be an automotive, technician. So,
And the
that's good
counselors
too.
through school links, we heard school links and that with the students, so there's a lot of, survey information that can be used by middle school counselors and high school counselors. So we're hoping to, next year launch a lot of that interest survey happening at the middle school level. So the counselors have data to say, based on your interest survey, this would be a place to start. So maybe try one of these because that aligns with your, with your interest survey that you took. So that the counselors can provide a little more direction. And then the difference between a participant in CTE and a concentrator is that the concentrator goes on to take a second class in that same area.
Good questions. So school links is key. That platform is in middle school. So if you have a 6th grader going into 7th grade, make sure you're asking them about that because they could do a ton of career exploration on their own in there. Like she said, there's career interest surveys, there's virtual field trips. I mean, there's just plethora of information. So I encourage you to encourage them if they're doing nothing in the summer. I was speaking with some IB kids over at Quail Run in 6th grade. I said, okay, you can get on and start doing that career exploration. That's what you do, because they were asking all about education and how to choose your pathway and things like that. But
Whole links, is that what you said?
yes, you should have actually already, oh, no, you wouldn't if you have an elementary. You don't have
I have,
a,
I have elementary and.
oh, you have high school? You
He's
should
at
have
PV and my daughter's
received the
at.
school links, because all parents were supposed to sign in and get a link.
And then one of the things we're working on in CTE is to group, programs, under interest areas. So that, based on interest survey, the students can say, well, based on your interests, here's a group of programs that would likely align with your interest. So that's what we're working on our end, would be to do those groupings to support.
That would be nice.
I was gonna ask if this is available in the summer for kids who maybe have transportation problems. So like they might have access to a vehicle in the summer, but during the school years they wouldn't, or is it only school sessions?
And we would have to actually go to the West Mex site ourselves and
Okay,
see
I was just
what
wondering.
the schedule is.
Yeah, about summer, but
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Or like kids who are really into electives, like maybe they wanna take a lot.
Mhm.
It's like they
Yeah.
also still wanna do theater or choir, but then they also want.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
great question.
yeah. I
Let's
just
find out the answer.
Again, I'm a small child. This is irrelevant for me now.
A good question.
Future, other parents.
I love those questions.
So Crest is one of our umbrella programs. So Crest was designed as a 4-year honors academic STEM program. We have 3 CTE programs that are part of that. Students choose from engineering, bioscience, or computer science. The computer science strand is actually a combination of network security and software and app as far as state CTE programs. So they kind of doing both of those. Like all CTE programs, it's problem and project-based learning, and over 51% lab experience is the standard of project-based learning in a classroom, but that's the minimum. And it includes all of the CTE elements of work-based learning, internships, and professional skills. And the goal of it was to prepare students for the science, technology, and engineering jobs of tomorrow. So we actually our computer science strand has become a bit of a cross strand umbrella program. So that's the other thing that we'll be looking at in our programs is strands we have that are you can consider across a lot of different program areas that would be kind of umbrella type programs. So in our case, it's computer science, and students bioscience students will plug into that. They might be interested. We're starting to have more students that are pursuing more subspecialties in high school and getting interested in bioinformatics or biomedical engineering or things like that. So we're seeing more students take advantage of cross program opportunities. And that's kind of the direction that we want to go with all the CT programs, is to group them in ways that students can get a start in a investigation. And as they hone their interests and see their direction, that there's kind of sub potential possibilities for them to pursue more specifically. The program goals for CREST were to provide a STEM education through specialized courses in engineering, computer science, and bioscience. We are preparing kids for college with dual enrollment AP credit. That is available through all our CT programs. It's a primary goal of CREST because these particular programs are ones that lead to often licensed fields, higher education, beyond bachelor's degree. And so we're helping students prepare their resume and their college entrance to a broad scope of post-secondary opportunities. Developing the professional skills. This is where the technical student organizations come in, the CTSOs. We use those as our professional skill and leadership platform. That is the magic of the CTSOs, is they help those students they develop technical skills in the classroom, but they develop leadership skills through their CTSOs, and then providing that internship work-based learning.
Okay, I was going to have students come with us today, but that was logistic nightmare to get them here. So I know, they, our film and TV students, at various high schools, filmed the kids and just asked them how CTE, these are all seniors. It's about 9 minutes. Are we okay to hang out for that long? Are you sure?
We could do a snippet if it's.
I could do a snippet if it's too long. Okay, I was like, I didn't know, they got really wordy. One of them got really wordy. I was like, oh my. And I hope we have sound.
We do. We're plugged in and. Oh, there it is, yeah.
I'm here with the welding department at Paradise Valley High School, and I'm representing the CTE program in correspondence with that welding program. I've been in welding since my freshman year, and it has been a huge part of my education. Along with the engineering program in Crest, it has been fundamental to my development. What I've enjoyed most about welding is being able to work with my hands, be physically involved, be able to build a product from planning to final touches, polishing, manufacturing, welding. I work also currently in the CNC room, working our plasma cutters. So I work with a lot of students in campus, outside of campus, and just any people who we can help and do jobs with. I love working with the CNC machine because it allows me to have a technical understanding of programming and relate it to something physical like welding. So cutting things out, making sure they're formatted correctly, and working with the machine. I would say problem solving is one of the best skills I've learned in welding, along with curiosity and trial and error. Because with welding, to understand how to work stick, MIG, TIG, it really is practice, practice, practice. But along the practice, if you want to improve, you have to be looking out for what you could do differently. Should I change my angle? Should I change my position? Is the air vent even rattling too much? It's constant observation and it's constantly paying attention. So that's what I love about it. There's never something that doesn't leave me engaged. There's always something I can be curious about or work hard about. It is an incredible experience and I love working hands-on and to fix problems. With the CNC machine, we're constantly on the fly. We're constantly monitoring it. It's very fun to be like, well, it's not arcing now. Is that an issue with its connection to the plate of metal, to the bottom base? Is there something wrong with the nozzle? Is there something wrong with the machine? It's understanding your technology to a level that allows you to be able to notice when something's wrong and then fix it in correspondence. It's overall a very lovely experience and I am very grateful I've been in the welding program and it is setting me up very well for the future. I know for CNC very much specifically that it has actually interested me into going into that job field. I love working with the machine, finding and cutting stuff and having almost the artsy side of it, of being able to model and to make the printing bed cutout sheets. So basically what the program reads to actually cut it out is very, very fun. And I have taken an immense joy and pleasure in it. Overall, I've enjoyed the CNC program for welding, basically for the problem solving skills. It has taught me and also fostered within me, and also the community as well. I've made some amazing friends doing welding, some that I have a very deep bond with. I actually got 3rd place in Skills USA for team welding fabrication, and then we had a team also in PVH, which got 1st place for team welding fabrication. They're going to go to state, which is really exciting. Anyways, thank you so much for your time and have a great day.
Hello, my name is Avi. I'm a 3-year marketing and tech student. In marketing, I've learned so many skills that will be useful in my career. I took Intro to Marketplace my freshman year, or did a Shark Tank project, and learned how to start my own business. And in Marketing 1-2, I learned all the 7 functions of marketing. And now in Marketing 3-4, I put it all together to form a 20-page business plan I placed first for in state competition. Along with marketing is a co-curricular organization called DECA. DECA is an organization which prepares emerging leaders and entrepreneurs in the fields of marketing, hospitality, finance, and management in high schools and colleges around the globe. And through DECA, we get to travel around the country competing in various competitions. I've been able to qualify for international competition 3 times now. And we're going to the international competition in Orlando in just a few short weeks.
Hi, I'm Hannah Lakey. I am a senior at Pinnacle High School, and I've been a part of our photography program for the last 4 years. The last 2 years, I've been able to serve on our FBLA chapter executive board, where this year I am the sitting president. I've competed the last 2 years in regional and state competitions with FBLA, where this year I even won first place at state for my commercial images and professional business portraits. With the knowledge that I've learned from our program here at Pinnacle, I've taken my photography skills and started my own business. I do a lot of sports photography. I've done events as well as some custom pregnancy announcements for family friends. I'm glad that I've had this opportunity and to be a part of this program here.
My name is Stephanie Patel, and I'm currently a senior in Crest Bioscience. And this program has given me something invaluable. It has given me the ability to grow beyond just academics, beyond the labs, and beyond the teamwork just in the classroom. And one of the biggest ways I've been able to do that is through HOSA, Future Health Professionals, a career technical student organization made of the next generation of individuals who are going to be the leaders of healthcare. And starting my freshman year, when I walked into the classroom, Miss Cherry and Miss Longerville, they encouraged us to grow, to push ourselves beyond just the classroom and to join organizations like HOSA. And that's what I did my freshman year. And boy, did I know I was in for a journey. I decided to run at the end of my freshman year for a leadership role on the chapter board. And I ended up serving my sophomore year as the historian and photographer. And this year just completely changed my perspective on bioscience and Crest. It allowed me to see how involved Crest Bioscience was in their community, in HOSA, and things of that sort. And working with organizations like NMDP, the National Marrow Donor Program, and fundraising for them, and bring these community service opportunities and drive to Paradise Valley and to HOSA were things that I was proud of, things that I was proud of to be a Trojan for and to be a part of the Paradise Valley Crest Bioscience chapter for. And I wanted to continue bringing an impact to not only Paradise Valley HOSA, but to Arizona HOSA. And that's when I decided to run for a role on the state board. And I would not have been able to do it without my amazing advisors, Ms. Longerville and Ms. Cherry, as well as the chapter president and all of my friends and the support I had in Crest Bioscience. And with that, I decided to run. So my junior year, I served on the state board, serving an organization of over 11,000 students in Arizona. And I was able to help with community growth, with chapter visits and seeing how all these different chapters run and things of that sort. And it allowed me to grow professionally in my public speaking, networking abilities, going to all these workshops and growing in all these different ways just helped so much and really helped me prepare for my next steps in college. And doing that junior year really helped me realize that like this is what I wanted to do, healthcare. And I ended up also running at the end of junior year to be Arizona HOSA's president, which is what I was able to do my senior year of high school. And it allowed me to continue growing in public speaking, to continue growing as a leader, to find myself, to find what I wanted to do in the future. So after HOSA, beyond HOSA, my career goals are to be an orthopedic surgeon with a specialty in sports medicine. And I would not have been able to have been equipped with the skills I believe I need to excel in the career without HOSA. But additionally, I wouldn't have even found the career or found my interest in it without Crest Bioscience. Because with the internship requirement at Crest, I decided to intern with our Paradise Valley High School athletic trainer, Mrs. Nicole. And through that journey, I just immediately found my passion in sports medicine. And I was able to work shifts where I was able to help athletes, help tape them, learn about rehab. So overall, Crest Bioscience and HOSA have given me something invaluable. They've given me the ability to learn myself, to find my strengths, my weaknesses, to experience so many different things, like going to these conferences, participating in science fairs, landing internships, presenting at symposiums, things that a regular high schooler student is probably not doing. And because of these experiences and because of these opportunities that Crest Bioscience has allowed me to have, I feel ready. I feel ready for my future. I feel ready to take on college and to take on anything that's coming my way.
So these are just a snippet of the impressive students that we have in the CTE programs. The last thing I think, this is the short slideshow, and this one's short. CTE signing day is where we celebrate students that have become a completer and are continuing on their journey in post-secondary pathway, whether it's going to career, military, or going to college or technical. We celebrate them and they receive their cord for passing their TSA. And so this just happened a couple weeks ago. Yeah, so, and our students actually put this together too at Grace South.
What it takes to pull it down. I'll do it till the sun goes down. And all through the night time. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'll tell you what you wanna hear. Keep my sunglasses on while I can't see. Now with the right time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know if you know. I know, I've heard that you feel so. Only one that can make friendships grow. I'm too afraid now. I'm
Okay, so that's it really for our presentation. Any questions? Thank you for sitting through our video.
I have a suggestion. You should have your film crew make a hype video that you can just release for anyone who is interested in the district to see. Like, it's very common in like recruitment for colleges, like a hype video where they can see kids like welding, like action shots. And to like cool music. I think it would really pop on social media.
A hype video, okay, guys.
I mean, it just sounds cool.
I know, that's
Undergrads do it all the time.
We do.
Like, all the time.
The marketing department is going out and videoing everybody,
it would be great.
and they're gonna start having videos, but I don't know, that sounds really cool. I don't know what a hype video.
want a
is.
student-
Yeah.
Kids do it'll be better.
Appreciate your feedback. I mean,
Yeah. I know, I hope I can remember it all. I
Well,
should have taken notes.
I hope, while we've shown you what we have, we shared a little bit of the vision where we see it going. And all of your input is really valuable because, you know, we want to take that and like having a common CTE night and, you know, the different things about getting the word out. That's probably been it's been maybe the best kept secret, and that's what we want to change. Yeah.
I want to thank you for your presentation. I got very hyped. So thank you.
I get a little emotional. 'Cause
We're
I love these
hyped.
kids.
We're
They're so
hyped. We
sweet.
get always
I mean,
hyped. Yeah.
they're amazing.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
I think in the old days, people thought, oh, CTE is for those kids who don't want to go to college, that, you know, my kid's going to college, but I don't need to worry about this. And the presentation shows us that's completely not the case, but
Exactly.
that keeps needing, like, now all of us know that, but I think
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
you know, there's that idea that, oh, CTE is for someone else, not, you know, but it's for everyone.
Yeah,
And I think
exactly.
that
That's exactly the
needs to keep-
message that I'm
people need to
working,
keep
we're working
learning.
on getting out there. Yes.
Just a quick comment. So I'm at Desert Cove and we're co-located with Shadow Mountain and
Mhm.
early childhood people come to our
Oh, yeah.
campus. And they are just a really important part of our whole culture and our kids just love having them.
Yeah, very
in the
cute.
classroom.
We're very lucky there.
They
because they're
volunteer
so
a lot for our PTO too, so.
Mhm. Nice. Thank
It's
you. I'll
really
tell.
Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa. I was gonna say Mr. Roy, but.
Yeah, I know, I don't.
Melissa.
I would say, you know, one of the things that is so cool to follow up with what Susan's saying is your focus is on finding what students are passionate about and having them explore that at a high school level, which is so much less expensive than doing it in college. When they realize that here, let's try this and go a year down the road and go, this is not what I want to do, right? And again, they're being pushed, the sad part is they're being pushed earlier and earlier to make their decisions. That's the challenge as a parent. But, you know, when they actually have the ability to find something that they really love, it makes a difference in them pursuing that, whether it's in post-secondary or a trade school or something like that. And as you've shown by many of these things, so many of our businesses out there, including the TSMC, which just, you know, is building a whole other set of buildings, right? That it is allowing for job opportunities that are going to continue to be happening in the future, right? This is where our future is going.
Absolutely. I get an email from them like every week. That's how they are just dying to get a hold of our kids, train them and get them into those positions.
Just follow up on that, my, one of my daughter's classmates in the nursing program is working at Mayo, and her whole college is gonna be paid for through Mayo as long as she works for them after she graduates. Full scout, full pay, 100%. And she's getting paid to work at Mayo as with the CNA.
Like a win-win. Very
So-
cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we're really about exposing opportunity. And there's opportunity for every student in this district. And so we want to start spreading the word, you know, from like the littles, as she was saying. And just, you know, careers have changed and it's different from the who's in your neighborhood that we kind of grew up with. It's so more expansive and so much less visible in a way. And so if we can make it visible, we can help kids start to, hopefully, be more motivated about school and what they learn and feel it's meaningful. And when we have purpose, then we get excited. And that's what we want to help kids do, is find their purpose.
Our school's about to have their career day, and so I was wondering if there's any way to connect, because we don't have very many people at that day, like, we have a few parents, but like, I feel like this whole section might be missed. So is there a way to have people?
When is it?
It's May, it's early May.
But we have time to get it together. We will do our best.
Okay.
So, you know,
Oh,
you
I
can
will
email
tell
me.
my
I have a
principal.
card. I have a card.
Okay.
And I'll get one. You can email me soon. For sure. Yeah.
I was gonna ask, for the parents, and reps here today or viewing this later, what is something you want them to take from this to do now as a parent and something they can bring back to their community as a rep?
Good question. I just think all the opportunities that are available there and just make sure they're helping their students, encouraging them to advocate for themselves and ask questions, because, you know, they also have these counselors, even in middle school, they have counselors, you know, just, there's so many opportunities out there. You just have to explore and take a look at what's there. So instead of just, you know, moving on and, you know, and then I feel like kids get up to high school, you know, even they're sophomores or juniors and maybe they didn't do very well in their freshman year. And then they've hurt their scholarship opportunities, so they just have to know that once you get to high school, your clock starts ticking. And I know that sounds a little stressful, but, hopefully with a lot more career awareness, career literacy with little, they will know that before they get to high school, and School Links, I think is gonna help us a lot too. And, getting middle school on board with us.
If we did not receive school link things, who do we reach out to?
I didn't know your principal. I thought everybody had gotten one of those. I mean, it's a new platform for us, but,
New this year, but
New
it's
this
been
year.
there all year.
it's been there all year. So,
I think I get like 5 a week.
okay, so you are
I
getting.
I
five
get
years.
that. I don't even know how why, but I now I have a
Possible you
better
like
idea.
signed
how
up
why.
when it came to you, because everybody initial one went to everyone, was supposed to. And then they would sign up, so they could get into that.
There's a lot of communication that comes.
Oh, good, good.
Once you're signed up, once you're signed up as a parent.
I haven't got it. I don't remember.
Yeah, and I think, like you're saying, once you sign into it, then you're on
You're on the
email
list, you're on the list.
I don't
Yeah.
even remember doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yes, anybody else,
else?
any more questions? Thank you guys so much.